Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dan Old School Green, and this is going to be a unique and different quick take. It's not me flying solo like in the past. And before we get into anything, as always, we're sponsored by the Heat Ratio Sports Network. And go to YouTube, tap the bell, and you'll be triggered to all our wonderful programming. With me today, my quick take is, why did the Eagles draft Jordan Davis? I wanted Kyle Hamilton, as many other people on our network did. We're not devastated over the Jordan Davis pick by any means, but my really close friend, my knowledgeable friend from a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia, Jon Andrews, a Georgia Bulldog expert, is going to tell us why the Eagles made a terrific pick in Jordan Davis. Jon, first of all, thank you for joining us. I hope all is well.
Thank you.
Fill us in on why you're a Georgia expert and why Jordan Davis was the pick.
Well, I've been following Georgia since I was a kid. I've lived here my whole life. Um, and Georgia football in the South is football. As everyone knows, uh, NFL comes like second nature to college football here in the South. And Georgia coming off this national title and with the great Kirby Smart coaching and the recruiting and coming off the Saban line, this is nothing but good things for Georgia for years to come.
No doubt. And because of my buddy Jon, I'm a big Georgia Bulldog fan myself. I mean, I kind of, the past 5 years they've always been in a hunt, and unfortunately they've lost a few games to Alabama, and finally it was their year. So I was thrilled for Jon and the Dogs. So Jon, tell us about Jordan Davis. Before here are my trepidations with him. Um, he was a 30% snap guy. He came out on third down, often on third and short, I found out. But I guess against the Georgia defense, third and short is still a passing down, so that's probably why he came out. Um, I guess you could argue that the Georgia defense is so stacked that rotating guys is just natural. But another concern was he's going into his final year, knowing he's going to be drafted, and he ballooned up to 360, got a little out of shape. So that worries me a little bit. So those are my concerns. Not a lot of snaps. If you're motivated to be drafted high, why would you balloon up to 360? He did lose weight to be a combine master, but I'd rather you show me on film 24/7. So again, fill us in on
Sure,
Jordan
sure.
Davis.
So, of course, as we know, you got all the stats, but as far as his upside of any defensive tackle in this year's draft, his size and his power and his speed, I believe he ran a 4.78, which was, if not one of the fastest for a DT at the combine. He has ridiculous explosion off the line. He is pretty much a 3 down. He doesn't have the stamina yet to be a 4 down or to be on pass coverage. But as far as he's an ideal 2 gap, huge hands, over 10-inch hands. He's a one-man wrecking crew when it comes to the run. He's like equivalent would be compared to an Aaron Donald. Will stop the run, fast around the corners, can track, which is unbelievable. The explosion can track backs down, some receivers, but he's just unique and rare individual for his size, being over 300 pounds. And he's two guys. He's always double teamed. One guy's not going to stop him at the line, bottom line. He will put that guy on his back. So those combinations of his upside make him a rare and unique talent. Great draft pick. He is, if he can maintain his weight, build stamina over time, he will be, as far as a 4 down or come in on pass situations. Let's see. Yeah, he is like I said, there's more upside than downside, Dan. He can change the makeup of a run defense and the presence alone of it just coming onto the field.
Now, the only question I have, you just said it's a throwing league, right? Now, obviously, you're going to have the Tennessee Titans of the world, the Cleveland Browns of the world, but they're not in the NFC. Um, it's a throwing league now, so that's
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of a concern. Again, do we need a
Mm-hmm.
run stuffer in a throwing league? Of course, teams run the ball, but it's still a throwing league.
Right.
However, my hunch is with Javon Hargrave on the team, even Fletcher Cox, hopefully he'll get rejuvenated by the fact that they cut him and re-signed him and all that stuff. Maybe if he's on the field with one of those players, the other guys will be getting a double team and he'll get more one-on-one and can explode into the backfield. Do you see that happening now that he's at the professional level?
I think he's going to be. A lot of teams are going to not. There's no film on him except college, so they're not. They're going to probably try to experiment and see. Hey, is this guy gonna? Is he going to live up to what everyone says? And they may try just doing one blocker on him because based on size comparison and such. But over time, and he's this guy. He's of course he's young. Over time, I think he's just going to shred linemen. And again, if he can, he's going to get in probably better shape than he was at Georgia and be more regimented. He's going to be also a leader in the locker room. Once he gets some age and experience on him, he was a leader in the Georgia locker room along with Nakobe Dean, who y'all selected. So over time, I think if he can maintain his shape and live up to his run blocking and run tackling and on defense and get to the quarterback, he will be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Now, an issue that I've had with players, often you'll see a player get that nice contract, and I call it fat cat syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you see his? You seem to know his character pretty well. Do you see him having that potential? I get the contract, and I don't live up to expectations, or do you just see him to be motivated even more?
No, I see he's motivated more. He was a 4-star out of high school. Wasn't actually highly touted. He had to wait his turn at Georgia because of the depth
Yeah.
of the defense. He didn't even make really an impact come in until like his junior year. He was a no name pretty much. And he wasn't given a lot of snaps his freshman, even though he had pretty good numbers freshman and sophomore, but he didn't really till his junior year and have the availability to make an impact on the defensive side of the ball there. So, but everyone embraced him. He became a leader in the locker room, a leader on defense. And I don't think the contract or money wise, he knows he has to work. That's one thing. At Georgia, he had to work just to prove himself because they're not one of those defenses where you're the best coming in out of. No, there's a lot of guys ahead of you. As Kirby uses the term elite defense, and they share the wealth at Georgia. So he's going to have to he'll earn his stripes, but I think hard work, and he's a very humble guy if you've seen him in interviews.
Yeah, it's soft-spoken, well-spoken as well.
Yeah, he's very well spoken.
So I guess a perfect transition would be this, and the Eagles do believe in rotating their linemen. So even if I had listen, I'm not upset with this pick. I ultimately like it. I just really loved Kyle Hamilton, but you sold me a little bit. So he's a rotational piece, but what makes me happy, and we'll tie this into Nakobe Dean, is having Nakobe Dean as a teammate, I think will motivate both of them. I mean, I don't think Nakobe Dean needs any motivation. He's just an out and out beast. But I think Nakobe Dean will not let his teammate let the team down, if you know what I mean. So I think he'll be
I
up
agree.
Jordan Davis's butt. Now, throughout the year, I've been always texting and calling you about Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean. You can vouch for all my viewers that that's the case. I've also always loved Roquan Smith, and I think they're very similar. And Roquan's been terrific with the Bears. Tell us if you have any worries about his pec issues, and B, what the Eagles got in Nakobe Dean, and then we'll end it with that.
Yeah. Basically, Nakobe Dean, 4-star out of high school, 31 nationally ranked. Beast. Again, had to wait his turn at Georgia due to an elite depth on defense. As you know, like you said, he was behind Roquan. He was behind. I mean, these guys, they're having to wait. But that just shows you they're not coming in. They know up front when they're picked that they're not just coming in and going to play. Very few positions at Georgia are like that, as you see. This guy, he's got the speed. He's a little, I would say, undersized, not as quite as big as Roquan. He can cover sideline to sideline, as we saw in the Michigan game and many other games. This guy is a fierce competitor on defense. He's got all the tools. He can play every freaking snap if needed. He's a leader. He was a leader. He was a Butkus Award winner, best linebacker in the country. The fact that his football IQ is off the chart. He's not as, I don't think, I mean, I guess because of the town he grew up in, if you hear him, he sounds like country bumpkin.
He's an engineering major, though, with like
exactly.
a high GPA, right?
But what matters in football is his football IQ is off the chart. No coach will ever, this guy, he wouldn't be the captain of the defense, you know. And Kirby put total faith in this guy, never let anybody down. He will, you know, challenge other players on defense if he sees them slacking off. At least he did at Georgia. Very tough, gritty, big hitter, impact player, outstanding, and, you know, 3-down, blitzer, coverage, you name it. Like I said, the only hindrance I see in the pec thing, I think he's got time for that to heal. Don't think that's going to be a big deal if he's fully healed going into the season, which he has plenty of time in his size. But really, we've seen guys that, you know, that always seem a little undersized turn into superstars.
Look at Sam Mills. Sam Mills came out of the USFL, 5'9", middle linebacker, Hall of Famer. And that was 30, 40 years ago. So size means I have no concerns about that. You know, he did it in the SEC at a high level. It'll transition. If he's healthy, I don't think anyone has concerns. I mean, Daniel Jeremiah had him as, I think, his 17th ranked player in the entire draft, and everyone had him for number one on the board left. Number one on the board left was Nakobe Dean. So, Jon, listen, you alleviated a little bit of my issues with the Davis pick, but ultimately, here's the way I look at the Eagles draft. If Hamilton was taken in the top 10 and we took Jordan Davis, I would have been totally fine with that. And honestly, I think Roquan should have been taken in the second round, and the center they drafted to replace Kelsey could have been taken in the third round, and I would have been thrilled because that to me should have been the order. I was a little concerned that they took a center in the second round, and I'm like, you can find a solid guard to transition into center with the great offensive line coach we have. Why pick it in the second round? But then when they get Dean in the third round, I look at it like, all right, we got really Dean in the second round, and I'll take the center in the third round. That's how I was mentally justifying it in my head. But Jon, on behalf of the Heat Ratio Sports Network, we were thrilled to have you on. Thank you for your insight. And anytime we want to talk about Falcons, Eagles, or Georgia Bulldogs, you're my go-to man. So on behalf of Jon Andrews, I am Dan Old School Green. Till next time on Quick Takes, we'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your weekend and happy Mother's Day, everyone.